At this stage, watercolour eyes often look flat even though they can appear finished, and this is where and why most people stop, when actually this is exactly when you need to push through. Let me show you how I build the depth and bring the watercolour eyes to life. And feel free to screen grab this sketch outline if you want to trace it to paint along later at your own pace by pausing the video when you need to. Most of the time, eyes look flat because we treat them as flat, especially the white of the eye, and forget they are spheres. So before anything else, I start building very soft variation around the eye, especially underneath, to suggest that structure right from the beginning. And we're lucky here because watercolour will do a lot of the work for us, as it dries unevenly when we use this technique. In watercolour portraiture, the eyes are really everything, so if you are missing certain steps, that can detract from the outcome of your painting, as you are taking energy away from what 99% of the time is the focal point. It is important to think about anatomy here and remember what we know. That the eye is a ball which sits in a socket and is partially covered by the eyelids and surrounded by the most delicate and fine skin, especially in the area just below it. The under eye area, which captures shadows and shows the underlying structure of capillaries and blood vessels. There are creases and there are folds, and we can't forget that this, let's call it, frame around the eye is as important as the iris and the white of the eye, and we can't pay less attention to it because it might seem less interesting or less fun to paint. It's actually great fun to paint. We can start getting the variation on tones and textures in by starting with a very loose wet and wet technique, which will mimic the discoloration and changes in value in the skin in this area. You don't have to use brush strokes that are too mindful or try to be too careful, which is a great icebreaker. Just to go over the entire area all the way up to the brow bone and even inside the eyeball as well. As the paint dries, you can start building up intensity by pushing the shadows in the crease of the eyelid. That's where our darkest tone will be, together with the pupil, and also add a little contrast to the eyelid. As you will see if you observe, it's not all one colour. You also saw me start adding fine hairs to the eyebrows with a smaller brush and thicker paint as early as this stage, just using a darker version of your skin tone or any darker colour of your choice. Keep your touch very light here, or the eyebrow will end up looking stiff and unnatural, which will take away from that more realistic look and contribute to that flatness we are trying to combat here. And you can even go into the iris with what is going to be a base colour. The iris captures and reflects light, so again you will rarely see an iris that is all the same tone like you see sometimes in those husky dogs, or all the same colour. You'll notice if you try that will take away all the depth and make the eye look dull. So please don't do it unless you're deliberately chasing that kind of look. And if you're wondering about colours, mixing different variations of the three primary colours, so a blue, a yellow and a red, works for most skin tones. Just adjust as you mix and make sure you get a large pool of colour so you don't have to keep recreating it. Okay, so we've gone through these first steps to solve the flat watercolour eye situation, as we have already created variety, movement and realism without too much effort, I hope. And this is an exercise that you can try time and time again until it feels completely natural and almost second nature. With slightly thicker paint, you can add the pupil and some soft eyelashes. Eyelashes are not straight up and down lines and vary in length, and the rule of less is more is one of the best to go by when you're painting them, or you'll end up with a doll-like effect. So here is that stage. The eye looks complete and quite good, and this is where many times we stop, but actually it still looks rather flat. And this is where we can start adding those touches to make it truly shine. Don't rely on those first layers alone. Watercolour dries lighter. Intensify the discoloration and shadows in the under eye by going in with more puddles of paint. Browns, purples, blues work for every skin tone. They don't make the eye look more ugly, they make it look more real. And remember to use thin layers of paint. There is often redness around the eyes, and by showing it we can really add contrast and bring out the colour of the iris. The more you look at your reference image, the more you'll start to notice colours and shadows you hadn't noticed before. Add them in even if they don't initially make sense to you. Focus on that reference, and it can be any reference, because this is when you are truly beginning to see all the different hues and textures that really are in this area of the skin. And there are lines too that hint at the roundness of the eyeball as it curves into the head. Having them in your painting of the eye will honestly make a huge difference, so always look out for them. And of course, don't forget this area is moist and sensitive, so make sure to show that in the rim of the eye and in the tear duct, both by adding contrast, as you will see later, by putting in some beautiful highlights as well. And for the fix that I will never stop repeating, treat the eye as a ball. It is not a flat surface, so don't paint it as a flat surface. As it curves back into the eye socket, you will see shadows that intensify, especially in the corner of the eye. Indeed, you will notice the white of the eye rarely has pure white areas in it if we don't consider the highlights. There are greys and blues and pinks because of those capillaries in the white of the eye, and shadows just below the top eyelid, as well as it normally casts a shadow. This one step will really bring your eye to life above all others, so never forget to remember it and to consider that eye as a sphere, to remember what the human anatomy suggests. I realise this video has turned into more of a tutorial style, which is slightly different from my usual content. However, if you like guided painting sessions, you can join my online community on Patreon in the Art Studio tier, where I have live and recorded guided painting sessions every month, and you will get access to my entire library of content the minute you join. You can come and go as you please. We also co-sketch every single Tuesday with a different theme every month. My YouTube videos are kind of like a little window into that other world, so if you'd like to step into it, I will leave a link in the description box below this video, so you can have a wee peek, and there are also some free resources for you to explore on there. The iris, as I mentioned earlier, is another area that can often appear flat if you forget to truly observe what you are looking at. Not only because of light and shadow, the iris will never be one uniform colour, but very often there truly are different colours within it. Usually there is a different colour closer to the pupil. There are sometimes almost patterns within the eyes, browns mixed with greens and blues and even violets. This adds interest to your painting and again makes it more realistic. And you will notice if you look back at the beginning of the video, or that finished but not finished stage I showed you earlier, what a big difference this makes. I will leave you to watch the rest of the process as I wrap things up. I really hope you do try this out and tag me on Instagram at the handle Drawings in a Drawer if you do, and I will share your work in my stories. Also consider joining our Facebook group, Fiona Di Pinto's Watercolor Students. Again, it will be linked down below to see what we get up to. And why not my newsletter too, because there are lots of things coming up, exciting things. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to my amazing patrons who make this possible. I will see you all next Sunday. Bye for now. Cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody is losing. Faces
but your face remained the same.